Hello and welcome to another episode of Turbo Pit Fighter, the making of. I'm Jake Jacobs. This is Kurt Brugel with me, as
Howdy.
always. And we are, hey Kurt, so we are making a comic. And here I'm showing page 14, which is complete. And I'm just noticing the uh, the the lighting, I mean the the pressure is a little light on this, but here we can see that the Turbo's changing the tire, and then she gets into the cab, and Trophy is noticing she's hurt again, and that immediately is triggering
So what
her
page is this,
back
Jake?
into flat 14.
14. Okay. So before you start going
So,
down that hole, let's back up for a second. And I am presenting the first 7 pages, over 90% completed for our first Turbo teaser. And so why don't we just take a couple of minutes? We'll review pages 1 through 6 of the story. Then we'll jump to you, and then you'll be able to pick up at 14 and then 15. You're also compositionally working on right now.
yeah, well, I have a dilemma with 15. I'm trying to lay it out, but we have a story problem, so
Oh,
today's going to
wow.
be a kind of like a puzzle to
I
fix.
love that. That's going to go in
Um,
the title, A Story
yeah,
Problem
right
to
on. Yeah,
Solve. Episode
right. How to,
54 of Making Turbo Pit Fighter.
here we are. So
So here,
so
yes.
why don't you go first? That's quite a treat. You got issue one. Why don't you go
So a
through it?
turbo teaser is going to be two 11 by 17 cream color, just your regular standard print paper. So it's 4 pages front and back. These were the 2 pages that I had basically up to finished that I just printed out to give a feeling of how this is all going. Um, and then we're going to sell them. We're also going to send them out to help promote us and kind of give us some street cred that we actually have something completed. So with that being said, this is the pinup. This is one of the first pinups you did back in like 20 or 2000, right?
Oh no, I don't know when I did that. I have no
Okay.
idea.
All right. So this is that, but
Could
this is
be.
not a recent pinup because you just sent me the pencils and then I turned around and then threw down some inking.
Well, it was laying around for I don't know when, and then I tightened it up and sent it to you. So
Right, right,
so
right,
I did finish it up
right.
and send it to you. So there's some time travel here.
Yeah. Okay. So then we get into page 1. Dun, 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 which is a whole lot of action. So now this is a burning question. Page 1, panel 1. It's barbed wire and then this barren dust bowl of a landscape. I don't know. I don't know if you remember what goes here in the way of text, but does the text and the story have to have this landscape barren? Because I would like to just put some good chunky battered down black, iron framed, burned out, a post-apocalyptic thematic elements. Is that all right?
You mean like debris?
Yeah. Like an old, it would either look like some kind of structure. That doesn't mean like buildings or anything, but it would have a kind of a structure in here of just kind of just broken up silhouetted black shapes. Because this just doesn't. I'm having a difficult time just being that
Yeah.
that being the first panel and the readability of it. Post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, it would make sense to have like not a big city, but maybe like a little city in ruins,
Yeah,
smoking and everything.
just
Yeah,
like
yeah, good point.
structures, just like really kind of like Franz Klein, if I can be artsy fartsy for a second, black line, heavy, jagged shapes. Um, but then we get into, there's someone's playing chess, which is about the world order and how this all falls down. But then the immediate bust in, and these guys are Which side are they on?
RM.
That's the RM,
They're the
right, right.
RM.
Bust into the orphanage.
No, that is Turbo's house went with her mom and dad, and they're putting up a whole bunch of kids.
Ah,
And I don't know, aren't those adults too in there?
I don't see it. Well, maybe this might be one
Yeah,
here.
they were. I think they were like they were going door to door, and they were like killing people. So
Ah,
they all ended up sleeping on the floor of the house. And he says, "Yeah, I'm the dad here." And then they kill him. And
yep,
so the very first page, it's Turbo's dad getting killed,
right.
and then that leads into the next page, which is her in a pit fight.
Bam! Literally.
Yeah,
Crunk.
and I right, and then on the lower right corner is going to be the title graphics.
Right here. So this would be a the logo, or are you talking more like written in pencil by Jake Jacobs and inked by Kurt Brugel?
Yeah, I think the way we had it before was it was like kind of like dimensionally in the ground.
Like this,
So that we
like on a three-dimensional laying on the
yeah, with
ground
like
kind of thing. Okay, yeah, that would
shadow
be cool.
shadowy letter.
That'd be cool
Yeah,
because
the
this is just
shadowy
great,
letter that was like
sweet.
yeah, right.
So this is
Um
page two,
and then yeah, then we're in a fight and Turbo's going to beat that guy and the announcer is going to be doing the play-by-play.
right?
And then so we realized that there's pit fights in this new hellscape, and um, the guy's like a Howard Cosell guy. He's got a lot of colorful expressions to describe what we're seeing. Um, we don't really know if this is being broadcast anywhere. Is he just broadcasting this into the crowd live on the
It's an
speaker,
awesome
or is this
question. It's an awesome
yeah,
question. Yeah.
just dawned on me for the first time. Is there
And
some
just
kind
to
of live?
recap, recap on it for everybody. This is a 25-year-old story. So we're revisiting this story from 25 years ago when Jake penciled issue one and I was to be inking, but life took us off into different directions. Um,
Yeah, I mean the continuity is always a great question. Marvel had to deal with that because um, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby would like, okay, here's the Scarlet Witch. She's a bad guy. Oh
right.
no, wait, we like this character. Let's make her a good guy. So you have to then you have to go back and like figure all this stuff out. But luckily for us, we haven't published anything yet. So
We're
now
getting
that we're
close.
closing in, we're publishing the first couple of pages. So now we
Yeah.
have to really finalize forever and ever, right? Like we that's one question that we've never grappled with is as we're building this world and expanding all the ideas, is there any kind of wi-fi internet, any kind of
I'm going to say
you know
no
um
immediately. I'm going to say no immediately.
right, it was
My favorite post-apocalyptic landscape is technology is basically back to the gasoline, driving the cars and
the gasoline.
the gasoline. Just throw down your weapons and leave.
Right.
So there's still fire as the light sources, and maybe some generators that are run by gasoline. Um,
Well,
but
no, there is technology. There's
yeah,
lots of technology.
exactly. I'm not saying that that's what's happening in our world. I'm just saying my personal preference. So leaning back, there is the atomic, the radiation pellets, right? That we have as a
Yeah.
commodity and an energy source and everything to that extent. Now, the question really remains to be seen in resolving, would there be some sort of radio or television broadcasting? Now, also, cell phones had just started picking up there in 2000. So we didn't even have anything in the way of like iPhones. And so people living through iPhones. So that's another layer that we could also kind of explore bringing in. I like the idea of this guy being a total character. I mean, just this panel alone, when I first hit it, and every time I see it, I can hear his voice. And it's that
Right.
smoky, like on the verge of losing it, and he's just taking long sighs of breath to get to the next one.
Well, we don't
And
see
nobody
him.
pays attention to him.
Yeah, we don't see him too much.
Right.
I think he's just in that scene, but we
Right.
could bring him back in the future if he's like the announcer type guy. He's got a bow tie, but yeah, yeah. These are interesting considerations. I would imagine that um, at this point, this is like Turbo's grown up. It's like 15 years after the page one, right?
Right.
Um,
And
something
she's
like that.
early
Yeah,
20s.
yeah, so by then the RM has split, and the D Hubertons are one faction, and the RM they split from their own military, and then it's like that's why everything's a wasteland for everything else. um there are radio waves out there, and people can broadcast locally, but you would imagine that there's like jammers. So
Oh,
anytime
wow.
people are picking up radio waves, you're kind of like announcing your position,
Wow.
and then the Hubertons can just send drones over. So there's
So there could
I
be
imagine
something
there's
along the lines of people pirating the cell phone towers.
well, cell phone towers, radio waves, shortwave, microwave. Maybe there's going to be something else
Atomic
discovered by
wave.
then. Yeah, because this is like the year we have a year. This is like the 2240s. The 2240s. So you know, we don't have to decide right here, right now,
No,
but
no, no, no.
it's something
We're just
it's
giving a,
something to mull over.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I would imagine that broadcasting anything, it comes at a risk because it can all be detected by others, and so people just don't do it. And then the question of but does the authority, do the dehubertans have anything, because they have kind of like the hammerlock on all the technology of the day. That's why they were able to basically fire or discharge the RM, which is their entire human-based military force, right?
yeah.
They everything goes south. In issue two, we see the dehubertans bombing the RM, at the checkpoint. So, it's possible that there is a technology, for streaming video and surveillance cameras and stuff like that. But we haven't mentioned it yet.
Right.
So it's something to keep in mind as we're laying in these little details.
Cool. So that's
But yeah,
page three.
great page there. Now we're going back into flashback, and now the mom's going to be getting it.
Poof, 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 poof.
Right,
Paff, paff, paff,
and
paff.
they're using using heavy arms to just walk into people's homes, and this was depopulation. The orders in the chessboard were to depopulate these areas. And then we see Turbo, covered in blood. So that shot right there of Turbo covered in blood is, if you look right here on my side, um, where I'm picking up this flashback,
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay.
Um, I mean, Turbo, of course, is in issue one, which you have. She's going to fight back, and she's gonna pick up that knife that her mom is holding,
Mm-hmm.
and she's going to stab one soldier in the back, and then take a run for it, and hide out. But we don't, at the end of issue one, we don't have any information until right here. And this is where she turns up at the orphanage
Issue two, page 14.
in, in issue two, page 14. Yeah. Um, I mean, we kind of jumping around because earlier in issue two, we see her smuggling into the pharmacy, but then it cuts, and then we go to older Turbo, or adult Turbo, and now we're going back. So here's the dilemma. Are you in the middle of your
Keep
flip
going,
through?
Jake. Keep going. Keep going. This is what has to happen.
Right. So here's the dilemma, because she gets triggered by by any kind of feelings of somebody caring for her. And here, Trophy says, "Oh, you're hurt again." So she goes, "Hurt?" And then we go into flashback, and we see this is Sister Ray, who runs. She's the headmistress of the orphanage. Poor thing, you've got blood on your face. She just turned up here at the orphanage. Are you hurt? She goes, "Hurt?"
Mm.
They're all gone. Gone. They're all gone. And here there's like a little descriptor that goes, "Keep moving, Turbo. Keep moving." Right. This is going to segue us from here to here. The problem is when I scripted this, we go from Embra and the pharmacy to the orphanage right here. I should have brought her back to the to the pharmacy. I brought her back to the orphanage, and
And that
I
should be
might either have to.
Embra. That should be Embra.
Well, it could be, but I had this originally in the roughs to come back to the orphanage because we never explained that,
Right.
and this is where she's getting a little bit of care. So I think what I need, but we have to bring her back to the pharmacy. So I think I have some panels here where these kind of like images or these memories of her, having somebody care for her, these feelings of her, being like noticed and seen, just kind of melt into each other. So I have the end of page 14. Sister Ray is welcoming her for the first time into the orphanage. And I could add a little thing. This was my first. I showed up at the orphanage right here. And then here, this is just rough layouts. Is she's embracing her. "You're okay. You're safe here, my child." And Turbo says, "Your hands are warm." We see a little bit of the church in the background, of the orphanage in the background. Sister Ray took me in. The orphanage held hundreds, but I was always special to her. Here we see her cutting Turbo's hair off. So this is kind of like flash forward. And she says, "Sister Ray, will you help me?" And she says, "Help you?" And she says, "Help me get them." So and there's a whole bunch of other like kids here in the background of the orphanage. And she says, "My sweet child, I know what you want. I want the same thing. Together, yes, we can do what's right. You can be a courier for the orphanage." And so she's cutting her hair to make her look like a boy. "It's dangerous, but such an important job. See me tonight if you are sure." Her fingers ran through my hair. Then we go to Embra. And Embra is running her fingers through her hair. Now she's a courier doing the job. She's doing the exchange of the radioactive peas in exchange for the weapon.
I
"Your hair
see.
is so
Yeah.
soft." So this is good. I
I
smoothed that out.
Can I just jump in? I
But
mean, we in the very first episodes of Making of Turbo, we had a discussion about this, and I think this is a perfect place to bring this back. Is the rearranging of said flashback panels. Now, I'm just going to state something from my own personal preference, which is all I can do, is you're three deep in flashbacks or two, technically speaking.
we're jumping. Well, there's only two periods, but we're jumping around scenes
Yeah, yeah,
because we're trying to fill in the
yeah.
gaps in the story.
Well,
How
no,
did Turbo
no,
get to the?
no. Well, this is the way I see it, though. I see it as there's three. There's where she is a kind of like where she's a child and she loses her entire family, and then she makes her way, obviously, in a same period of time. But I'm just segmenting the loss of her family as something to be able to go back to as a time frame. Then we have the orphanage as a time frame. Then there's a time frame where she's at the pharmacy doing her first delivery, and so on and so forth. Here, there's an
That's
eight
that's a
pages. Page 14 is basically ending us on an ice cream truck road warrior fight out for like eight pages. And of course, there's some collateral damage on Turbo, and Trophy Girl is, trying to be nice and kind because their relationship is yet to be built. And that go back to that page 14, because then that next panel should be uh, Embra is our question, but you're taking it back. You're taking it to the beginning of the second scenario, which is just ending her parents' family being slaughtered, and her picking up into this renegade lifestyle that she's going to live in this post-apocalyptic world. I like it. That's all in the short. I like it as is, but I can see your
Yeah.
frustration for being
Well,
very particular.
let me be perfectly honest here.
Please,
In my rough, I think I screwed up. Right in my
please.
roughs, I didn't. In my roughs, I think she did go straight back to Embra, but I was just on thumbnails here, and it's right here. There's nothing here. Look, this one I never. Oh,
Ah,
sorry. This one I never. Right. This is where they're going. They're Yeah. I changed this around. Instead of looking through the binoculars down the hill, she's changing the tire because I thought it was important to show that. Then they get back in the cab. We spoke about this last episode.
yeah.
She says you're hurt, and then it says you have blood on your. Yeah, so I did write you have blood on your face. So at this point, when I was laying out the thumbnails, she was showing up at the orphanage. This is page 14 at the bottom, but page 14, I
15.
did have I left it blank, and there was from going from the orphanage to Embra, where Embra, her father's yelling Embra, right? You're snapping out of it.
Uh-huh.
So I messed up between here and here. When I wrote this little thing in green, you have blood on your face. That's when she shows up at the orphanages. So this is what happens when you stand up, walk away, and come back. But I like the device
I did
where
too.
anybody that cares for her, see, in very short succession, we have Trophy, Sister Ray, and then here it's going to be Embra, all
Embra, yeah.
showing Turbo some attention, all within the space of like 5 panels. One, two,
And you
three,
saw
four, five.
Posca, right? Posca.
Right. Well, we haven't introduced her yet, but
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying
Polska.
that they're Polska. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
I'm good.
So
I'm good with it. But if you want to keep sharing what's bugging you, we can get closer maybe to a
well, my
result.
puzzle was yeah, my puzzle was how do I get from Sister Ray to Embra, and I think I solved it. But is it clear? Do I need to add some writing? Like, should I? I think I should
So
put
what's
here
what's
like.
lead us out of this? Lead us out of this scene. Get your notes again and show me how you're getting out of this scene or the
Oh, sure.
migration
Yeah.
from right. Because I
Yeah.
don't know, because that's going to be a big play on, because it's going to obviously be getting back into the ice cream truck and rolling it down the hill to get to Mr. Ike and the garage and everything, right?
Right. Yeah. So definitely. So I not only have. So here's what I have for page 15. Right. This we already did. We made this earlier. We made this like page 3
Uh
of
huh.
the comic, right?
Uh-huh.
And so this is where Turbo flashes forward, right? This was Embra touching her face. That one touch flashes her forward to Trophy saying, "Turbo, wake up! We have these
Right.
guys pursuing us." And then we got into that huge battle sequence. So now I renumbered this 15. So this is where we're at, and I have this cheap little thumbnail, where I left most of it out, where we're somewhere between Sister Ray and then Embra, right?
Yes.
Embra, what are you doing back there? But here's the page. So this is how I originally laid it out.
I
In the
remember.
foreground, we see the mom and dad with those like gloves on under this radioactive tank, and they're counting out and weighing out the peas, right? And they have some testing stuff where they're checking the quality and the weight and all that. In the background, she's there. Turbo saying, "You're lucky. You have a family and a safe home." But Ember is saying, I swear to God, I can't wait to get out of here. I don't even care what happens. And Turbo says, that sounds familiar. Because from the first page of issue 2, Turbo is saying the reason why she took on these dangerous courier runs is because she didn't care what happened at that point. And then Ember here is going on real strong. Your hair is so soft. I'm so attracted to you. Your smell, everything. She goes, I think that's sulfur residue from the bombs. I want to call the bombs something other than bombs there, cluster bombs or something, but I want to use like more of a techie term. I've been dreaming of someone like you to run away to get me? No, to run away to get out to get something. Tonight, take me, take me. So I'm translating that here. Your hair is so right, and then what happens next is they are kissing, hot and heavy. I don't think that's a good idea. Boy, you really don't waste time. Not with you, Turbo. You really do it for me. I can't believe you're a glower. I want so bad to be with you right now. Then the dad busts in. He's taking the gloves off. Embra, father, I was just enough lies. We can't leave you alone for even a moment. And then
Feisty Embra.
right, and so here I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, and so I see how I have this little side panel here. Young man, this way quickly. We're being watched by. What does this say? ETS, ETs. I don't know. So Ember's going to get a beating, and just to go to the next page, just so you know how the story's flowing here. Turbo's hustled out the back door by the mom. The dad is like rearing back and giving it to Embra for being so promiscuous. Embra, get a grip. We need you watching the cams at all times. And someone's approaching the pharmacy, right? So Turbo brought heat, right? All those drones and all that kind of surveillance stuff does work. There's just a delay. And here's a critical scene. Your delivery was as described. Here is the package for the head mother or for Sister Ray. Do not open it, and for God's sakes, do not let anyone else get your hands on it. Do you understand? Got it. It's in a little sealed package where we don't know what it is, but obviously it's the gun in there, the prototype. That ladder will bring you straight down into the aqueducts. And so here we're going to see Turbo's on her way. But basically, this is the important missions that she's on. And so this little interlude with Embra is going to be real quick. It's just going to be this page.
And then
before
she
the
heads,
next
then
page.
she, yeah. But then how, on 16, is she actually back in with Trophy?
No, we don't come back to
Right.
Trophy. Let's see.
So this
So
is
here's
what we were talking about in the beginning of starting this whole thing. Is we have these flashbacks which can be moved around, and the question right now is whether we want to move this out. Because Jake, if you
well,
go
let
back
me.
to page 14, just let me finish this thought. If you go back to
Yeah.
page 14, all you have to do, get to the original. Show me the original.
Oh, the original right here.
Yeah. So that bottom right hand panel, which right now has Sister Ray and then the newly arriving Turbo, that panel can be replaced. In other words, you can do a breakout panel, right? Which would then get pasted in on top of that, which will then give you a segue on how you want to get to 15. Whatever page 15 is can then get moved somewhere else in the story to pick up her years being a runner, delivery boy, and then returning, and the orphanage is going up into a blaze of hellish glory.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
You understand what I'm
but
saying?
this is
We were talking about this. So this would be a point where all you have to do is give us another little panel there that would get pasted in. That panel can then be brought in again, a cut in for wherever, and then you can pick up 15, but 15 is your next page. 15 is going to be something different.
I don't get it. What are you saying to put here instead?
Uh,
You're saying
I
bring her back to Embra right away?
yeah,
Huh. So you think it's better
Because
to
I keep thinking the development of her relationship with other women. So and obviously Sister Ray is a motherly figure, but Embra and
yeah.
Trophy Girl would be on the same kind of like Embra would be her first like getting
Well,
with another girl.
Trophy's starting out with these kind of like motherly concerns, right? About her
Well,
hurt
she's
because
just starting to
Trophy,
get into it. And then she's gonna flip. She's gonna be like, I'm gonna bust out of here. I'm gonna go be a high paid hooker in
yeah,
Vegas or some
Trophy
shit
has
like
not
that.
expressed
So
any.
she's not sold on Turbo. She just got her ass saved by Turbo.
Right, she's concerned about Turbo's health because she's a savior. You
Yeah.
know,
And
it's
then
kind
she
of like
goes, and then she
the
does this delivery. Embra is this hot and horny little girl, young girl who's being trying to use Turbo to get her out of her situation. All I'm saying is,
right.
it's for me there is a little weirdness with jumping from Turbo and Trophy to Trophy and Sister Ray. I'm saying that panel most definitely could be, not should, but could be Embra and Trophy. So all my suggestion is based on my logic from
Right,
from outside in.
but, but here's why I think I did this, because this isn't like or like any kind of romantic touch, or even just like there's no touch. She's just expressing concern, and that brings her back. That's why I wrote that in green, is because this brings her back to somebody caring for her in this hellish landscape, right?
Right.
And that feeling. And so here's her, here she is with blood on her face. I think if I just wrote, you know um a little extra little line here where it says, this you know this is where I showed up at the orphanage, something to that effect. And
But this is
then
also the
here,
first time, and this is the first time anybody's going to see Sister Ray. So they have no
right here,
establishment of who she is.
right,
And then
this is
she's
when I first
gone.
showed
She's
up at the
gone.
orphanage.
She's gone like two panels
Well,
later
we mentioned her right on page one. It says, Sister
of issue
Ray,
two.
here, right here. Here, this is so during this explosion panel, this is
Yep.
page one right here.
Yep.
No, sorry, page two, because of the montage. Here's page one,
Yes.
and we talk about the depopulation. Um, it wasn't always like this. I had a family, a sister, then it was all gone. I found myself covered in blood, some mine, my father's, my sister's, my mother's. When I showed up at the orphanage, I was still drenched in blood. I had already learned to kill for survival. So this is kind of like hitting that note again. This is page two. The controlling RM forces are bitterly split. The ruling family, who controls, who has all the automated weaponry, has no more use for about 25,000 foot soldiers who occupy the hinterlands. Last 2 years, I've been a smuggler for a resistance cell operating out of the orphanage. I've become increasingly more daring, and I'm fast when I need to sneak behind RM lines. Sister Ray sends me on the most important runs. I can pass for a boy, and she says I'm the bravest kid in the resistance. The truth is, I was willing to do anything because I didn't care what happened to me. I was numb inside,
So
right?
you're
And
trying to
then,
come back
then,
to
and
this
then she,
point.
right. So I'm just trying to hit these notes like again and again within the
Okay.
story. And so
Okay.
I think if we can keep this, if we just
Okay.
add this little, maybe we just kind of make it a little more plain that, you know, the sensations that she's feeling that are triggering these memories. It's like, somebody's caring about me. Somebody's, the feel of somebody's hand,
Here's
like the
somebody
touch.
caring. Here's somebody caring for me again.
Right, somebody, right, the touch, somebody caring for me, right?
Yeah.
I'm just writing these, and this is all just a scrap paper, but their hands are warm, right? Sister Ray took me in. The orphanage held hundreds, but I was always special to her, right? And then she's making this kind of pact with Turbo that she'll help her get revenge, and
Pull the
she'll
page.
activate her
Okay.
in the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
resistance,
Yep. 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 Okay.
right? And then so we just need to, you know, somebody cares for me, right? I'll just say
Yes.
somebody cares for me. Um, and then we're in Embra, and this gets us back into the story. And so
Are you going to say
can I
that
just do
same
the quick?
thing? Jake, are you going to say that same line at the bottom of page 14? Somebody cares for
Yes.
me,
Well, I right.
right? Right. So you
So
got somebody cares for me right there, and then da da
right,
da. Somebody cares for me, and then you transition over to Embra.
exactly. And
Okay.
so I'm just trying to write this in neatly here because this will be like final copy, but
Okay.
of course. Um, so I think that's good. And then if I could just bring you through the pacing of the rest of the issue two,
Okay.
just on the roughs.
Since we're here.
Um, since we're here, yeah. So what happens is Turbo. Somebody might be here following her, but she's in this alley going down this ladder to the aqueduct. We don't really like go too deep into it. She's retracing her steps. She's going through the burned out RM checkpoint. Sometimes there are like little uh, things. It says the weapons have already been scavenged, but Turbo did find a pair of spiked gloves. Um, why would they be trading? Turbo returned to the checkpoint, finding it a wasteland of corpses and wreckage. Why would they be trading peas for more peas? Oh, so here she's wondering what's in the package. She goes, package is on the heavy side, probably means radioactive shielding. And then, but why would they be trading peas for more peas? Trudging back to the orphanage, Turbo counted bodies. There must be some foot soldiers roaming around. She traced her footprints straight back to the orphanage, and then she sees, oh no, the rectory is under siege. I crossed this out. The complex, campus, rectory, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's under siege. Um, so she'll be running, and then in the distance, you not only see it on fire, but you see it surrounded by RM. Holy crud, it's a bloodbath, and you see people getting picked up. You see this, she's behind the soldiers, but they're getting picked off. Trucks are pulling up. A column as far as the eye can see. That means they're showing up, and they've really, made the orphanage a target. And here, yeah, and if you see anything here that's not clear, or maybe we can tweak, let me know. So here I see Turbo in the scope of a rifle, like a sniper. Turbo's back. She's got the package. She's giving the sign. She's identified the commander. And then you see distance 68M, gamma, 300 PCH, all the little like
Yeah. Yeah.
technical mumbo jumbo that this. Look who it is, girls. It's Dishvan the slaver. No wonder they came here. This means we fight to the death. Just just as fast as we introduce him, he's shot in the head by this sniper. So this whoever the sniper is just like going from Turbo, looking at his signal, her hand signals, going to Dishvan, and then shooting him right in the head. Long guns up to the spire. Now, by the way, we are going to show Dishvan in flashback. He's going to appear in the
Yes.
story somewhere. Um, Long guns up to the spire. Yes, head mistress. That'll be Sister Ray. Get the kids into the flume before these reached the dam. Yeah, before these guys reach the dam. And this is where we had Turbo wake up. So we moved all this, right? This was originally page 4.
Yes.
So we did
Yes.
move it. So we did this. This was page 5.
Yep.
We did this, right? And now we only have the rest in thumbnail. So
Okay.
we got to go back to thumbnail 17.
All right. Well, look. Hey, let me finish out because we're coming up on 45 minutes. We're giving a lot in
Speaking
the
of
way of.
skipping around, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we're this is
right. But
this
and
is
I
good.
went over this. I went over this in an earlier episode,
Yeah.
but
Well, we'll keep going
that just
over it,
brings us.
Jake.
Yeah, that just brings us back, to the rest of the flashback where the orphanage goes up in smoke in a mushroom cloud, and then then we rejoin Turbo, and they're headed down the hill. They are going to enter the little city state area where all the mechanic guys are, right? The little
Mm-hmm.
fix it guys. They're gonna find Mr. Ike, who's on the outs with his wife. They are going there. There's going to be this page here where they're fixing up the van and they're taking some time to recharge the batteries. Trophy is going to start to unload on Mr. Ike. They're going to fix the robot too, and they're going to head into the sunset. Um, Although, yeah, there's going to be some problems with them getting paid, with all the mechanics getting paid. They're going to really have to like use a lot of credit, and Mr. Ike is going to have to trade all of his tools and stuff. We get into that here. But basically, they're heading off and they're heading to the regionals. There's a poster that they see advertising the regionals. And so Turbo needs to get to a pit fight. She owes a lot of money to Ike, and Ike is really spread thin. I might even have some mechanics coming after them at the end because they don't have enough to pay for all the stuff, the repairs that they needed. But one way or the other, we'll work that out. And then that'll be page 28. So 29, 30, 31, 32, inside back cover could all be, says right here, CUB1, the unbeknownst one. And so those are pages that we have laid out too, where we're going to set up the cruelty is the point,
Right.
if you remember that.
And
So
so as we
we're going
what
back to the beginning of issue 1, where Turbo's in her very first introductory pit fight here,
yep.
interspersed with scenes of her parents getting slaughtered,
Right. And this
and
is
pretty much everybody else.
this is page 4, page 5. I really like this panel here.
Yeah, she's finishing off her opponent. We see some more announcements. The guy that she finished the job. Then she's at the bar, swigging down some kind of beverage, and she notices for the first time the trophy girl. So we really don't waste time just introducing these two characters.
Nah.
Right, and trophy girl she's encased in this thing. We see her like as a prize being given away for the next pit fight, which is going to be happening. But what we haven't alluded to, is that she's been passed around. Kurt, she's been
I'm
passed
listening.
around a
Yeah,
couple times.
I'm listening.
Right. So,
do you have an age? Do you have an age for her?
No, but she's definitely in her prime, and attractive young, thing. But like that's kind of like a creepy question we have to deal with.
Right. Right.
For her origin story, when did she start being a trophy
Yep.
girl? What's her family story?
Yep.
How did she end up? This is after the depopulation. Maybe she's Turbo's age, maybe a little younger. Do we want to make her like 19? Do we, Turbo's like around 24. Do we want to make her like 20? Do we want, so there's that. And then how many years has she been passed around? Because she will have this attitude of like, very jaded and, traumatized, been through a lot. We're just going to start getting into that when she starts unloading on Mr. Ike, as somebody that, she feels like she can talk to because he's non-threatening, right? Because he's like really short. He's like a dwarf or something. But we do have to think about all that. We have to figure all that out. So
and then
maybe when she's like, kidnapped and separated from her family, or maybe she was bred for this in the first place, by breeders, Dishvan slaver. Dishvan, maybe Dishvan is in her past. Oh, no, that couldn't be. No.
Why not?
No, Dishvan is killed when Turbo's young, but okay. But it could have, there could be a kid trade here if we want to get into that.
I think the wonderful thing about Turbo Pit Fighter is we have 6 issues laid out. You do. And as you just witnessed today, we are we're in this for the long haul. We're putting this teaser together to give you something as an early adopter and supporter. So consider when we do have this in the marketplace to make the purchase. But more importantly, we're doing this for two reasons in a big sense. Is that Jake and I are working side by side here on making Turbo Pit Fighter the podcast, um, and and we're sharing because we want you to be a part of this as well. So please make comments, and you can be as hard as you want, because you
We
know
share
what?
because we care.
Yeah, we get it. I mean, if you're going to be just stupid about it, then obviously we're going to ignore you. But uh, we're not trying to sell that we get this whole thing. And I don't think anybody making a comic book, and from my vantage point, and I think Jake shares it as well, um, you want everything thought out. You want to come across these questions. You want to start rethinking things, even in midstream. Technology gives us the ability to be able to handle that. Like I had suggested, cutting out another panel and bringing it in to be able to bring in another segment of pages for different flashbacks. And who knows? Maybe when we get down to the end of issue 6 and being done, and then repackaging for the graphic novel, we don't reposition to tell the story in a more specific way because we know trophies past. I actually, just to tease you and our fans, I'm working on a little sketch with some ideas about Trophy. I find her to be a really interesting character. I'll definitely be sharing that in the near future. But Jake, other than that, that is what I have. I will, in our next episode, have a printed version of the teaser, the turbo teaser, and we will
Hmm.
then start getting into all these fun little dialogue and narration boxes that need to be finalized for for uh, for all the discussion and thinking that we've been doing. But I'm pretty darn excited, and it's been a year, and my excitement is growing incrementally because I'm starting to see us get our wings on. So other than that, Jake, do you have anything else for these good people? Because we got to let them get back to reading comics and making comics if that's what they're doing.
Yeah, no, that's it. We could just tune in next time. We have all these puzzles to figure out, and we're gonna do it. The trophy girl, the details of her backstory is gonna be probably issue 5, issue 6, maybe. So we got plenty of time, and so just keep tuning in. We're right now we're in issue 1 and issue 2, and we're thinking about the later issues so that the whole thing is wrapped up in a bow by the end of issue 6, and it'll be a very cool graphic novel in some point in the future.
Yeah,
Years, but
Jake and I have real lives. I spent all of yesterday, which was Saturday, working on pages 4, 5, and 6 to get us to this point. So I'm going to do my best to keep trying to cut time out. But Jake's got a real job and family and all that, and I as well. But we're always getting together on Sundays. And we're keeping this for our retirement package. So we're retirement prepping. So
yeah, I mean we're on a pace to I think we're on a pace to put out some teasers this year in 2023.
absolutely,
Um,
at least
and
two.
uh-huh,
All
and
right, Jake.
that'll all get compiled. So yeah, we're on our way.
All right, I'll see you next Sunday.
All right, man.